How you doing? So we now know that Iceman is getting a buff. So let's look at the last paragraph. It says, "What's next? We're currently working on a lighter update to Iceman. We'll be looking to bring his base damage up and make some tweaks to his utility. Yes, he'll be immune to Cold Snap. So before he wasn't, now he will be once he gets a buff, which is really good. So let's look at his pre-buff Iceman abilities and stuff like that. So here it is. Iceman. He looks cool in the picture, by the way. Let's look at his champion attributes. Ability is a 4. So he's going to be immune to Cold Snap now. So that's good. Survivability is 4. That's not bad. That's above average. Damage is 3.5. I would say that's still above average. Ease of use 2.5. So definitely not the easiest champion to use. Utility 3 out of 5. Just average. But he is going to get an increase in utility, so that could be a 3.5 or a 4 out of 5. And then it comes to his damage, you know, which is actually pretty decent. He's above average right now, but I'm assuming that he's going to be increase his base damage based on what I read. So that's gonna be probably close to 4, most likely 4 out of 5. So that's gonna make him pretty good. Also, keep in mind he is a mutant, so he can increase his special attack by 150% with Apocalypse Synergy and Professor X ramp up if you make him a horseman. So, let's look at his abilities. Iceman in organic ice form grants him full immunity to all incinerate, bleed, and poison effects. So he's currently triple immune. That's really great if you're running damage mastery as well. So you're not going to take any damage from bleed and poison, but you will be taking damage from recoil. He also going to be cold snap immune, so that's going to be great. It's going to be a pretty decent counter to Iceman, basically his own against his own shadow fight, if that's what it's called, I believe. So the thing about him, he has called the ice armor. Iceman begins the fight with a layer of ice armor active, increasing his armor rating by X amount. If Iceman would lose more than 5% of his max health from a single source, his ice armor protects him from the blow, reducing the health loss to 5%, then it shatters. So that's the good thing about Iceman. He has his ice armor, so from a single source, he cannot lose more than 5%. But the thing is, the ice armor does shatter. The Iceman also would become stunned while his ice armor is active. The ice armor negates the effect and shatters it. So basically, he can shrug up stun if he has an ice armor. But the thing is, if what happens is the ice armor shatters and it has a cooldown of 15 seconds before you can use it again, because before the ice armor reforms itself. Critical hits, 45% chance to place a frostbite charge on the opponent. So this is probably going to be higher than it is. It's going to be probably, I'm assuming, at least 50% chance, so that's really good. Frostbite charge are passive and deal 961.35 earning damage when they expire, so that could be a little bit higher than that as well. I believe this is based on a 5-star rank 5. Heavy attacks. This attack causes all frostbite charges to expire instantly and deal an additional 282.72 energy damage each. So I'm not gonna read through everything. Iceman, I believe, has been in game since the game started, so it's been in game for about 8 years now. So I think most of you know about Iceman, and probably some of you already know more than me when it comes to Iceman. So let's look at his signature ability. Absolute Zero. Iceman harnesses psychokinesis to chill the air around him to freezing temperature. This causes his opponent to start the fight with a cold snap active, dealing 2,431.83. So if he's awakened, he could be really tough sometimes if you don't have a counter when against him. So this is really good to your advantage. If you use him, you can inflict a cold snap on an opponent if they're not immune to cold snap. That's really great, or they don't have energy resistance. Energy damage over 12 seconds and preventing them from evading attacks. Additional Iceman can reform his ice armor in 3 seconds faster. So that's gonna be like so what is it? Instead of what, 15 seconds, I think, or 12 seconds. Instead of 15 seconds, it'll be 12 seconds. So his awakening ability is pretty good. It's mostly the beginning of the fight. It also helps you get the ice armor faster. So that's nice. His since he's an old character, he's pretty genetics when he come what do you call that? Genetics original. I don't remember exact word, but his synergies are not that great because he's an old champion. So he does have a good synergy with Professor X as well as Scorpion, I believe. So you can definitely run really good courage and double edge on him. Because he doesn't take damage from those, only from recoil. So that will help him increase his attack, physical energy resistance, bow resistance provide additional damage reduction, which combine nicely with his natural armor bonus from ice armor. I don't think that physical energy resistance is not gonna help him much, but it's definitely help. It's something to help him with. So yeah, so what I meant to say, I think generic. His synergies are pretty generic, so you're not gonna have anything like anything crazy when it comes to his synergies because he's an old champion. Mostly the new champions have really good synergies. So let me give you my last thoughts when it comes to Iceman. I think he's gonna be a decent champion. I think I already said it. As he is a mutant, so he can increase his attack by 100, special attack by 150%, with Professor X and Apocalypse being a horseman. So I don't think he's gonna be like you know near broken like Diablo's buff. Maybe that's a good thing. You know that he's not gonna be as close to broken as Diablo's buff. But I'm excited for his buff. At the same time, not really because I know it's a very unlikely. Like I mentioned, that his buff is not likely going to be as good as Diablo, like nearly broken. And when it comes to Diablo, he's just literally one synergy away um, from being broken. If he gets 100% bleed resistant synergy, he will literally break the game because he'll never die. He'll never die. A 6-star rank 5 6 200. Currently, the quest we have now, he will just never die if you have willpower and you're running damage mastery. Because just put it in perspective, against Phoenix with synergies in level 5 threat, his attack was about 6100, but since I had class advantage, her attack was reduced to 10% for some reason. It used to be 20%, but now it was reduced by 10%. It was like 5500. It took 24 seconds for Phoenix to knock me out with a 5-star Diablo. Okay, with synergies, to let you know that with synergies, 24 seconds. Okay, without me doing anything. Just me getting hit on purpose. Imagine a 6-star rank 5, 6200 Diablo. In any quest, you can pretty much take a punch. In those type of nodes where there's bleed resistant, as long as it's non-critical bleed, that bypass critical bleed, he would be regenerating anywhere from 3 to 4% health per second, which is gonna be pretty crazy. So he can really regen to full health from 1% to 9 to 100%, anywhere from, I would say, 25 seconds to 33 seconds, which is going to be crazy. So if assuming that you have running liquid courage, you have max willpower, as well as you have the bleed on you the whole time, and there's no heal block. So he'll be literally broken if he had Diablo ever had 100% bleed resistant synergy on him on those nodes, any type of bleed node or any champion that inflicts a bleed. Personally, I would rather have Diablo be bleed immune, because one thing is the bleed resistance. Like if he was 100% bleed resistant, he will literally break the game because he'll never get knocked out in those nodes where there's bleeds, and any champion that inflicts bleed, because you'll just keep regenning the whole time. So also technically you can solo more fights if Diablo was bleed immune, because like I mentioned, I think already, that some champions can bypass uh, bleed resistant, with critical bleeds and some whatever increased ability or something like that. So yeah, I really hope. I think the Iceman's buff is gonna be good. I'm excited for it, but I don't think he's going to be like nearly broken as Diablo's buff. But I do think his buff is gonna be a pretty decent buff. What do you guys think of Iceman's buff? I think it's gonna be good, especially that he is a mutant that he can increase his special attack by 150%. Thank you.